Welcome to another episode of the Morewood Chronicles. I'm Dave. He's Greg.
Right.
We'll get that eventually.
Yes.
Today we are discussing 1995's Jagged Little Pill by Alanis Morissette. 1995, probably one of the best years for smash albums
That's a big statement,
of
man.
all time. I mean,
That's a-
The Bends
I wanna
by
hear it.
Radiohead.
Okay.
Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness by Smashing Pumpkins. What's the Story? Morning Glory, Oasis. The Great Escape by Blur. Bjork's famous album Post was out that year. Exit Planet Dust by the Chemical Brothers. That was another big one. Daydream, Mariah Carey came out that year. AC/DC came out with Ball Breaker that year. Green Day's follow-up to Dookie, Insomniac, came out that year. In the rap world, Raekwon's album came out. History, Past, Present, and Future, Book 1 by Michael Jackson was out that year. Me Against the World, Tupac Shakur. The infamous Mobb Deep. One Hot Minute, the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Tragic Kingdom by No Doubt.
All right, so it was a good year. Okay.
The Gold Experience by Prince. Astro Creep 2000, White Zombie. Above by Mad Season.
I think that's a very overrated album, personally.
King for a Day, Fool for a Lifetime.
For those
Faith
who don't
No
know,
More.
Mad Season is Chris Cornell and a lot of Jerry Cantrell and other members of Alice in Chains and Pearl Jam. And
A Boy Named Goo, the Goo Goo Dolls. I mean, and that's not even all of them. That's a big year.
Yeah.
That's a big year.
All right.
A lot of big albums that year. But I think, honestly, this one pretty much tops the charts.
Yeah, I mean,
For me.
it's really one of the best albums to me of all time. It's up there. It's really good.
This album, the reason it's on the Billboard Top 10 is it eclipsed the earlier album that we had listened to in our review, Carole King. It was number one for 17 weeks, I believe.
Wow.
So yeah, it's still on the
Billboard.
Billboard Top 200. It's still being bought today. I mean, I hadn't listened to it in years, so I re-downloaded it.
Yeah.
And
Like I said, I didn't even listen to the album for this broadcast because I'm pretty confident in my knowledge of this album. You know, I've seen her probably 5 or 6 times in concert. She's phenomenal live. Like
as good as the album.
better,
Really?
and it's never the same. Like she mixes it up. She plays the songs differently. You know, like you and I covered Green Day. We did Basket Case.
Yes.
I got that from her.
Oh,
Because she did it acoustically like that. That's where it would.
that's awesome.
Yeah, like it was. She's really cool like that. And, like she's done all of her songs like very different styles. She switches it up.
There is sort of a double-edged sword with that though. Like for example, I saw the Counting Crows in concert, and they changed their arrangements, and people hate it.
Well, Counting Crows, they're either really good live or really bad. When he's in his mood, he is not. He's vocally is not good. He admits it. Like it is not a good show. I've seen both ends, and I've seen phenomenal and really bad. So
Yeah, I think I saw like a meh show
Yeah.
of his, I guess. So, Jagged Little Pill is Alanis Morissette's third studio album. It was released June 13th through Maverick,
most people-
first released worldwide.
most people think it's her first.
Yeah,
They've-
I had assumed that it was the first, and then my wife did all this great research for us.
Thank you, Jen.
Her first 2 albums were like pop, almost dance.
Yeah.
And you were telling me earlier off the air that they were trying to make her like the next Tiffany.
Well, that's what that's what was popular. You know, like Tiffany was a huge Canadian star. You know, and then you had Debbie Gibson down here. You know, that type of music. You know, they did like mall tours and like she performed. You know, I just can't imagine.
That-
I don't know if you watched Bubbles. What is that TV show?
How I Met Your Mother?
How I Met Your Mother. Yeah.
Yeah.
Her character is based on Alanis Morissette. 100%.
Right. Yes.
So
Have you heard the first 2 albums, the ones that she
I can't say that I have, no.
Because that's going to be a deep dive that I'm going to have to do almost immediately after we end.
I don't know if I want to ruin it for myself. I'll never look at Atlantis the same way.
Yep. It's been out for 25 years.
Right, that just blows my mind. It really does. I hate that I'm so old.
Yeah, we're getting up there. Most people associate this album with female rage and anger,
It's
and
because of one song.
But it kind of is throughout it's a common thread throughout a lot of the album. But I relate to it perfectly fine as well. I've noticed, like, coming into it, I was like, oh, this is like the Alanis Morissette Angry Woman album, and then I was like listening to the songs, and
it's not.
I mean, it can relate to just about everybody.
Yeah, you live, you learn.
Yep.
You know, Head Over Feet is a very positive song. You know, there are some sad stuff. You know,
and Alanis Morissette writes all the lyrics to all the tracks on this album.
Yeah.
She did have help on most of the songs with the arrangement and.
Well, everyone collaborates.
Right,
Nobody does it by himself.
So she has credited herself as not a terrific music writer in that, like, guitar and piano.
Right, gotcha.
But lyrically, she's pretty much top of the list for her generation. Just really, really good.
Chris Stapleton might have something to say about that.
Well, isn't he the new generation?
Yes, he would be. Yeah, again,
he would be a newer generation.
Yes, yeah. Again, forgetting how old we are. It's a 20-year gap.
2000 was 20 years ago.
Shut up. Oh, man. All right, so track one.
Track one, All I Really Want. Right out of the gate, the harmonica, and then just the guitar that comes in like a half a beat later, and just that was awesome. What a great just way to introduce an album.
Yeah.
The song was really, really good. And it gets you right into the story of the album. Like we were saying with Carole King, albums used to tell a story. This one is no different. It told the story of an angry woman, basically, that has something to say, and you're gonna sit there and
you're gonna listen to me. Yeah,
yep.
I will be heard. You know.
Yeah.
The harmonica thing is cool because she admittedly is not a harmonica player. Like she all the harmonica you hear is all her. But she doesn't know how to play harmonica. She plays an open tune harmonica that goes to anything, but she does such a great job. Like her harmonica and all her songs is so important. You know?
Yeah, and it is featured pretty heavily in a lot of the tracks. So it's just I love the long pause towards the middle of the song where you literally every time I hear that track I'm like, oh, something happened. I gotta. And then it comes back in every single time. I listened to this album like 4 or 5 times too while we were preparing for this because we've had a big layoff.
And this is one of the few albums you can listen to.
Yeah,
over and over.
Every time, like, and a lot of the albums from this time period are in that category.
Yeah,
I can listen to Dookie over and over again.
That's a great album. Yeah, that's a great album. Yeah.
So
I'm surprised that's on this list.
Yeah, and then track 2. You Ought to Know. I want you to know that I'm happy for you. I wish nothing but the best for you both. Another version of me, is she perverted like me? Would she go down on you in a theater? Does she speak eloquently? And would she have your baby? I'm sure she'd make a really excellent mother. Cause the love that you gave that we made wasn't able to make it enough for you to be open wide. No! And every time you speak her name, does she know how you told me and hold me until you died? Till you died, but you're still alive and I'm here to remind you of the mess you left not quite as well. I thought you should know. Did you forget about me, Mr. Duplicity? I hate to bug you in the middle of dinner. It was a slap in the face, how quickly I was replaced. And are you thinking of me when you fuck her? Cause the love that you gave that we made wasn't able to make it enough for you to be open wide. No! And every time you speak her name, does she know how you told me and hold me until you died? Till you died, but you're still alive. And I'm here to remind you of the mess you left when you went away. It's not fair to deny me of the cross I bear that you gave to me. You ought to know. That you made, and I'm not gonna fade as soon as you close your eyes, and you know it. And every time I scratch my nails down someone else's back, I hope you feel it. How can you feel it? And I'm here to remind you of the mess you left when you went away. It's not fair to deny me of the cross I bear that you gave to me. To remind you of the mess you left when you ran away. It's not fair to deny me the cross I bear that you gave to me. Everybody knows this song.
Everyone knows the song, you know.
And
it's there's all the theories what it's about and who it's about, you know. It has ever been proven.
There's no question what it's about.
Well, what it's about, yes. Who it's about, you know.
Has it not been proven that it is Dave Coulier that the song is about?
I don't know. I know they dated.
Yeah.
You know.
And they say it was around that time.
Right.
And
it would have been when he was doing Full House, and she was probably doing the mall tours, and she was all poppy, you know, for her first two albums.
Right, yeah. So some cool things about this song is it features Flea and Dave Navarro.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. They play on the song.
That's why it's difficult for me to play.
We did it though.
We did it, yes. Yes.
It won 2 Grammys, nominated for a third, reached the top 10 on 3 different American charts.
Did you see what Grammys it for? Was best song or best score? Not score.
I think it was track of the
best song of the year.
Best song of the year and
best
artist
female
of the year?
artist.
Best female vocals of the year. I think were the 2.
Okay.
All right, so that's you want to know. Everyone.
Yeah, we don't have to go far into that. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot. I could have a whole conversation about it, but don't want to go down there.
And even though it is the angry female song, any guy can still relate to it. Yeah. I can sit next to you and tell you that I relate to this song. And
of course.
I just sang it for God's sakes.
To me, it's not an angry woman. It's an upset woman.
Yeah,
she's hurt. And she's been hurt, and these are her feelings. I'd rather her put those feelings on paper than go out and do some crazy stuff, because some women do some crazy things. So I'd rather see this side of it. You know, get your emotion out in a better way.
Yep. All right, so that brings us to our third track on the album, Perfect, which is My favorite song on the album.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm not as familiar with it as many of the other tracks on the album, obviously, because it was not a single.
It wasn't radio played.
It wasn't any of those things.
No.
But this is the song, the tale of the same song being two different songs for me. When I was a kid, I was on the other side of this song. Like, the song is basically about how parents force their children to grow up in their image,
Yeah.
in their shadow.
Yeah.
Do what I do. You're never going to reach a point where you
The parents weren't satisfied with who they are, so they're forcing
Right.
their child to be.
And as a kid, you listen to this song and you think, yeah, my parents, man, they making me do all this stuff I don't want to do and blah, blah, blah. And now
As a
that
parent.
I am a parent, this song breaks me down. I almost started bawling the first time I listened to this because you do this.
To your child?
You do these things. They're-
Unconsciously.
Subconsciously, yes. And some of it is not so subconscious. There isn't a doubt in my mind that my kid would not. There isn't a doubt in my mind that my kid would not be in karate if I didn't
Want him to be.
tell him that he had to be in karate.
Right.
And
Well, there's a fine line of that, too.
and now he loves it. Now he wants to go. There isn't a doubt in my mind that Alex wouldn't be into singing if I wasn't into singing.
Sure.
It's pretty much you are responsible for molding your child.
I don't have one, so I mean, it's a very one-sided view for me.
Mhm.
You know, I have nieces and nephews, but
Right.
that's not nearly, not even close to
So
being
if
a parent.
anyone that's listening that hasn't really listened to this song,
Listen to it.
listen to it and listen to the lyrics because
Do a lyric video, like watch the lyrics. while
it will crush you.
Yeah,
But then again, at the very
it'll
end,
lift you up at the end.
there is that redemption. They say, she says at the end that being perfect isn't being perfect. Like, it's just you being you is what ends up being perfect, and that hit me too.
Cool thing of this song in the play, Jagged Little Pill. This song it's sung in the view of a woman singing it,
Mhm.
but in the play that they have a male vocalist who does it in the play, and you see it. When you hear a guy singing it,
Mhm.
it really does take a whole nother perspective. 'Cause
Right.
You can picture, telling a little girl you have to be beautiful, you have to be
Right.
thin, you got but then a boy you got to be a great athlete, you got to be,
Yep.
it's a different.
You get the whole different vibe from it,
Yeah.
which is probably it would crush me even more.
We should go see the play.
But sometimes please don't get me going with please. Favorite track on the album.
All right, good. I'm glad you like it.
Number 4, Hand in My Pocket. I like the song.
It's just a fun. It's just. I think it's a meant to be a radio friendly song. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
meant to be, but it definitely is.
Yeah,
You know.
she trying to appeal to a wide audience with this one, I think.
Yeah.
I like that it's like a duality of making choices that will make you happy.
Okay.
It's like, I'm broke, but I'm happy.
Sure.
I'm brave,
I've been
but I'm
there.
chicken shit. I'm.
I'm more broke now than I have been in a while. For the past 10 years, I was successful in making money, and I was miserable.
Right.
I worked, a 4 to 5 job every day,
Mhm.
and I made money, but I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, you get
hate
home
my
at the
life.
end of the day and you're just
Yeah.
you're spent, and
yeah,
it's so how I love towards the end. What it boils down to is that nobody's got it all figured out just yet. No, there isn't a person alive that's got this all put together 100%, and your choices just do what makes you happy.
yeah.
So, very good song. Number 5, Right Through You.
This is a cool song.
Yeah.
I got more information on this song from Pandora. She had a little explanation thing that she had going on about this whole album. She talked about it, how she wrote it,
Yeah.
about her record producers and her trying to get into the industry and
Right.
how she was treated. And she's like, I know what you're trying to do to me. I'm not gonna allow you to
Right.
just take advantage of me.
Yep.
You know?
So yeah, the classic there's many other songs that are written like an up yours to the record producers. Like, you want me to make a single here, I'll make a single.
Right.
Here it is.
And she says now she actually sings the song differently. She has different lyrics. She has different lyrics for it now. She's as an adult, an older person, a more successful person. She sees things very differently than she did 25 years ago. So she's a little more apologetic, I think, towards the record label type.
Right.
You know?
Because though they may not have seemed to have her best interests at heart, maybe they were trying to steer her down a direction that they thought she would be more successful or things like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, everyone's got their points, but it's at this point in the album when I was listening to it that I realized how good this entire album just sounds. Everything is so
like
dialed.
The production of it,
the production of it, her vocals, everything. Every second of this album is so dialed in that it's no wonder it is where it is.
Well, it's not about vocally. Like you said when we saw Chris Stapleton, how impressed you were. Like that's how her concerts are. Like she's very much like that. She's so vocally on point, and the music is always so good too.
And to be that good at this for this long it's amazing to me.
Well, your boy from Foo Fighters was the drummer for Alanis for a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, didn't they have a relationship? They dated for a while?
I don't know about that, but I know he was the drummer.
I believe that was one of the things that Jen had said. Yep, she dated Dave Grohl for a while.
Not Dave Grohl, the drummer from Foo Fighters was the drummer.
Oh, Taylor Hawkins?
Yeah, he was the drummer for Alanis.
Ah, I'm pretty sure though that Alanis dated Dave Grohl as well.
I can see that.
So even the vocal effects, because we were bashing Nickelback a couple weeks ago because they did it pointlessly.
Right.
In this album, she has chorus effects and echo effects, but they're used flawless.
Yeah.
It's incredible, and this song really showcases all of it.
Yeah.
So, Forgiven, number 6, track 6. This is
one song I will honestly say I can't put my finger on it without listening to the album. I can't put my finger on this song.
This is the song. Her voice is more powerful in this song than any other track on the album, as far as I'm concerned. Listening to it, I'm nobody that's just listening to a song, but her voice is just hits you with this song. It's about religion that feels forced and creates anger rather than fixing anger. It's something that I feel like a lot of people in our generation can relate to strongly, because it was like we were saying in the last episode, our Christmas album episode, how I'm not tremendously religious, but I come from a family that is, and not that I was forced to, but there were a lot of days where I spent like at the basement of our church, like with other teens and youth groups and things like that, and like I was like, all right, yeah, I'll go, and like,
not what you wanted.
I didn't want to be there, and it wasn't something that I was overly interested in. But then things come out about almost every church.
You live and you learn.
Has their incredible amount of problems, and they just cycle these. Ugh.
Yeah.
We'll get into that another time, but so like religion didn't help a tremendous amount of people in our generation, I feel like, and that's.
Well, I came from a very non-religious family. My mother was always very. You decide what you want to do with your life.
And that should be that you feel like that should be what.
When I was 16, I met a friend in school who was very religious. His father was a leader of a church, and they invited me out to the church, and I learned a lot. And I got baptized. I chose to be a part of that, and then I chose to not be a part of it anymore. Within like 2 years, I was like, this is not for me.
Right. And I feel like a lot of kids who grew up with baby boomer parents, it was a very, like, go to church, say your prayers, go to work.
It's all just traditional.
Tradition.
Yeah.
And tradition for tradition's sake isn't always the best thing.
No.
and can mess you up sometimes. And that's
Yeah.
what this song was about
Okay.
for me.
Yeah,
And
again, it's one song.
it's
can't-
really I say it for me, but it's really not very subtle at all.
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely what the song's about. So, yeah. And then it's followed up by You Learn,
Right.
track number 7.
I mean, it's very very obvious what the song is about. I
Right,
mean, there's
yeah.
no, you live and you learn.
Yeah.
Things happen. You make choices, and you make mistakes.
I have written here, and this is not a knock because I love this album beginning to end.
Right.
But I wrote that this is as close to filler on this album as you're gonna get. I feel like
Okay, I get
this
you.
this was her really trying to like appeal to a wide audience. And
Right.
you could almost tell it.
It's like Hand in Pocket. They're very
Yeah.
similar. I get what you're saying.
So, I'm not saying it is filler
No,
because I
no.
enjoy the song and but it does implore an overly used topic, but it's done in just a powerful way, an Alanis Morissette way.
Right. Her sound is just so good that everything just sounds
Right.
great.
Even if you write a song that
It's just okay.
100 people have written before,
Yeah.
it's still better than the 100 people before.
Right.